Hello, family. My name is Tony. And without the grace and the truth of the Lord Jesus Christ, I am sick, twisted, freak. But we're not here to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about you. Tonight's lesson is on confess. And the little slang, y'all don't have a little sheet to go about that? I can do anything I want to do. I'm excited. So, the little slang, the little phrase we're going to use tonight is this: stop concealing, start healing. Because that's kind of the theme of this lesson tonight. Because when we talk about confession, that's what we're going to do. Principle 4 says this: openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. That is a big statement. Because for me, openly examine and confess my faults was huge enough to openly do it. Not try to hide anything. To myself. And then to God. That wasn't that big a step for me because, I kind of got this whole God knows already idea in my head anyway. But to someone I trust brought a whole different level of work involved in this thing. So, we're going to talk more next time we talk about choosing that someone I trust. Because that means more than just not someone who will blab my stuff. That means someone that, well, here's the deal. When I first taught myself getting out of prison, when I first started doing my testimonies, I was doing my testimonies in churches. So I almost got into I was so bad, you know what I mean, trying to impress anybody with how bad I was, because they were all church people. Well, somebody invited me to prison to do my testimony one time to change the way I do anything. Nobody down there is impressed with my criminality, power, whatever it was. So, someone I trust means someone that I'm not going to impress with how bad I was. Somebody who's not going to be surprised. Somebody who's not going to be upset. Somebody who's not going to be startled. Somebody who's just someone I trust. Find that person. We're going to talk a lot about that next time we visit. But I just wanted to hit that note tonight. Someone I trust means more than just someone who won't tell all my stuff. However, that is priority number one. Step 5 says we admitted to God for ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. James 5:16 says, therefore confess your sins to one another and pray for each other so that you may be healed. In this step, in this principle, we're fixing to bring somebody alongside us. Technically, you could have kind of got this far in recovery on your own. Except for the Lord Jesus Christ who came in step 3. Now then in step 5, or in principle 4, we're going to bring somebody along. The lesson here has a story about Jessica McClure. Some of you, me and Billy are old enough to remember that, right? But the rest of you, this was a little girl in Midland, Texas that fell in a well, 8 inches, and then went to 20 inches. Anyway, so she was down there for 59 hours. And early on in the rescue, they kind of did it in 2 phases. Phase 1 was they got it where they could get somebody down there to talk to her. Started, of course, pumping air and light and all that other thing, all the other things. Because here's what happens, is when we're isolated and lonely, trapped places, and our mind starts wandering, we start self-catastrophizing, we start all these things, and our mental, we will give up. All kinds of, our brain will just, it'll turn against us. So they found out in this that they need to get somebody down. She was 18 months old. I was watching videos about it today. I was looking up. So if you're young and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, look up YouTube. Yes, McClure story, and it's a fascinating story. Fortunately, she was in West Texas, where there just happens to be a whole lot of rednecks that know how to drill a hole in the ground. So they got her out of there. Well, that was the good news behind this. But that's what we're kind of doing here. Okay, when we start this, as we're going along in this recovery deal, we're kind of like going down into a deep well. We've asked a lot of you. You come down to the now, just asking a lot of stuff of people. So sometimes we feel like we're free falling. And one of the reasons we feel like we're free falling, because remember we had some kind of false control that used to run our lives, whether we were codependently trying to direct traffic in our lives, or whether we were drinking and because we weren't hurting nobody but ourselves, or some way we were trying to maintain control in our lives. But what's happening now, we're starting to peel away from this control. We're starting to let go of some of it. So that's kind of really scary for a lot of us, because it feels like a free fall. Like, wait, if I can't do this, what can I do? Where am I at? That's why it's a critical juncture to bring somebody else in this with you. Jesus Christ is right here with you. Like God talked about in that video, he's there and all that. But here's the deal. Kind of like Jessica, we need somebody with skin on to be there with us. It's just that time. It's a critical point in the process. We need to get another human being to come alongside us as soon as possible. Need to get someone next to you before you give up, go back into denial, or in a way, or fifth step says you can only grow so far along, then you reach the point that continued growth and healing are going to require assistance from somebody else. Here's the thing, we get to this point, and this is where everybody does 3 and out, 4 and out, or whatever. This is where the rubber meets the road in this thing. A lot of people bail right here because they get scared. It gets too tough. It gets overwhelming. Jokingly, I get up here every time I teach and talk about I am a sick, twisted freak. But in reality, that's the damn truth. And outside of Jesus Christ, I am whacked out. My thought processes are just like bizarre. Here's an example. Okay, this is how my brain works. In my head, there's a little cartoon running all the time. That's why when some of you people tell me these stories that are too descriptive, it makes me cringe. Because I see that. That's kind of how my little brain works. So go from there, I can just go left, and I get pretty sick in a minute. And here's the next thing, okay? Here's what we are previous to this step. If we can't admit this stuff, if we can't say it out loud, we can't say it to another human being, we can't just bear it all out, what we become is we go back to what we were. And here's what we were. I don't care if we were a codependent, if we were an addict, or what we were. We were an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. Because every one of us thought we were something, but deep inside we knew we weren't. So we were egomaniacs with inferiority complexes. That's what we don't want to go back to. And that's our default pattern. That's where we're going to try to go to anyway. So, what I'm telling you tonight is very important. Get somebody along with you in this journey. I know you've got accountability partners and all those things, hope are building up in you, but you really need a sponsor for this step, for this principle. You have to have somebody, someone you can trust. Somebody that you know, hey, this guy has been down this road. Guys are terrible about asking for directions anyway, right? So before GPSs, my wife would ask me, to stop at a station and ask somebody. And you go in this gas station, and either the guy is from the Middle East, or it's a teenage kid who's never been where I'm going. What? What are all the directions from him? Same thing about recovery. Don't get directions from somebody who hasn't been there yet. Find somebody who's got some recovery, got some time behind their belt, knows bull when they hear bull, strong enough to call you on it, all those other things. You got to have somebody alongside us. It's crucial at this point. So tonight we are talking about confess. So y'all don't have a sheet, but I'm going to tell you anyway, your first C is confess itself. Confess your shortcomings, resentments, and sins. God wants us to come clean and admit that wrong is wrong, that we're guilty as charged. We need to own up to our sins, that we've already discovered doing these inventories. For the person who confesses, shame is over and the reality is coming in. Proverbs 28:13 says this, he who conceals his sin does not prosper, but whoever confesses and renounces finds mercy. Remember, stop concealing, start healing. There it is. Here's the thing. We've all learned this from, remember the little Bible stories, the little cross that bridges the gap and all these little tracks and stuff? That sin separates us from God. Bottom line, sin separates us from God. It is Adam and Eve, remember, they sinned, they ran ahead. It separated them from God. But confession separates us from the sin. That's good stuff. Y'all can write that down. Confession separates us from the sin. Once we talk about it, once we confess it, we can start moving away from it. can't heal what you say's not there. And here's the thing, if you're really struggling in some area, if you're struggling with an issue, you're struggling with just one particular area, have you really confessed that? Have you sent that to God? Have you talked about that? Have you talked about that with another person? Have you really confessed it? Have you even confessed it as a sin? What? Yeah, that's right. That's how I was with my pornography. Well, you know, it's just me and the pornography. I told you I had some twisted up on it. So I wouldn't admit that it was even sin. So I had to do that. Then I had to tell somebody else. Now I done told all y'all. Not mean for that to come out. So is there something that you're still struggling with? Confess it. Look at it. You know. Here's the thing. As we go through this stuff, especially when we do our inventory, we get all these character defects and we start listing these sins that we need to confess over and over. It's like I say, it can become overwhelming. Because basically, we're saying, I failed at this, I failed at this, I failed at this, I failed at this. But here's the thing. Failure is an event. It's not a character quality. Failure is an event. It's not a character quality. What you do with the failure, how you respond to it, is the character. So, all these failures that we identify, they're just events. They do not define who you are. They are simply what you've done. Who you are is God's masterpiece, as we saw a while ago. Now, the O stands for obey God's directions. Confession is just meaning that we agree with God that sin is sin. And restores our fellowship immediately. Remember, sin separates us from God. I confess it. God's like, cool. Glad that's out of the way. Let's go. So principle 4 shows us how to obey God's directions and confess our sins. First, we confess our sins to ourselves, to God, to someone else. A couple of verses here. The lesson had this verse. As surely as I am the living God, says the Lord, everyone will kneel before me and everyone will confess that I am God. Every one of us then will give an account of himself to God. That's Romans 14, 11 through 12. But this one is in your book. It's in your self-study book. It's one of the verse that I say memorize more than any of them. It's Isaiah 1:18. When God says to Isaiah, come, let us reason together. God said, wait, don't run off, Isaiah, come here. Let's talk about this. Let us reason together. You know, that means God's going to talk, and Isaiah's going to talk. Let us reason this together. Though your sins be as scarlet, I will make them white as snow. Though they be red as crimson, I will make them white as wool. The last part of the verse that the book doesn't have in it is what I really like. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the best from the land. Now, why did I leave that out of the lesson? Hey, that's good stuff. Stop concealing, start healing. You do the confession, restore immediately. God doesn't just want to forgive you. He wants to fix you. He wants to heal you. Then of course, James 5:16 says, confess your sins one to another so that you may be healed. Pretty simple. I mean, the Bible says this is, okay, when you read something in the Bible one time, that's a biblical truth. And when you read it the second and the third time, it becomes a biblical principle. So here's the thing. Confession, bringing healing, is a principle of the Bible. It's one of the mainstays that the Bible is built on. So every time you read that, remember, it's a principle. If you can live your lives on principle, your life will be good. That was free. The next letter is N, no more guilt. This principle can restore your confidence, your relationships, and allow us to move on from our rear-view way of living to kind of like we're looking forward and looking out the window and seeing the signs. Romans 8:1, we know from here, there's therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. So, with those three letters, the con is over. Here's another, this is my favorite verse in the Bible. Now, this is it. I say a lot of it, but this is the one, I promise you. John 1:14. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We have seen His glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. Because if it wasn't for the grace of Jesus Christ, I never would have been able to face the ugly truth that was my life. That's why I can seriously say every time I get up here, I'm Tony, and because of the grace and the truth of Jesus Christ, I realize that I am a sick, twisted fruit without it. Because it's only by His grace that I can look in the mirror and say, man, I was jacked up. And He loves me anyway. That's cool. So I can face the truth because of the grace. That really is my favorite verse. So next time I come tell y'all about a favorite verse, y'all can back me up and say, yeah. Because I probably will. All right, so now then with that part over is we're going to get 4 positive changes in our life when we do this. The first positive change is the F, which is we face the truth. Instead, I like to say, it said man occasionally stumbles over the truth, but most of the time he'll pick himself and continue on as if it never happened. But recovery doesn't work like that. Here's the bad thing about recovery. For a guy like me, recovery requires honesty. Man, I can be dishonest about my things. Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of the life. Have you ever noticed when people tell the truth, they're at ease? I've been around a lot of people, and it gets, as you get older and older, like I am, you kind of get to see these lies, quick. People get nervous, they switch you in, they got to cover this lie with another lie and all that stuff. But nothing is more enjoyable than talking to somebody who's speaking the truth, because you can just see the confidence coming out of them. Like, man, that guy knows what he's talking about. He's telling the truth. Whoever speaks with truth speaks with ease. Now, the next positive change, number 2, is E, for ease the pain. Here's the deal. You're only as sick as your secrets. You're only as sick as your secrets. When we share our deepest, darkest secrets, we can divide the pain and the shame. And you know why that is? A secret only has power as long as it's a secret. As soon as the secret's out, it no longer has power. It's over. See, so many people, even when they're found guilty of a crime or whatever, they're like, I'm glad it's over. Been trying to hide the secret forever and ever. A secret is super powerful. That's why the abusers start training the one they're going to abuse early on by saying, hey, this is going to be a little secret. It's going to be a little, you can't tell nobody. It's going to be a little secret. That's the first step in preparing a child for abuse. Secrets are only powerful as long as they're secret. All right. So, a healthy self-worth development is no longer based on the world standard, but on the truth of Jesus Christ. Pain is inevitable for all of us, but misery is your choice. It's optional. Psalm 35, 3-5 says, there was a time when I would admit that I was what a sinner I was, but my dishonesty made me miserable and filled my days with frustration. My strength evaporated like water on a sunny day until I finally admitted all my sins to you and stopped trying to hide them. I said to myself, I will confess them to the Lord, and you forgave me. All my guilt is gone. Psalms 32, 3-5. Y'all need to look that up and read the whole thing. I don't like the book of Psalms. There's no storyline. There's not this, and that happening. So it's really hard for me. But matter of fact, I was here and I heard Charles say that. I'm like, that's why I don't like them. But once I realized that, I started re-looking at the Psalms. And here's the thing, especially the Psalms that David writes, if you'll read them, nearly most of them, they start out with, there was a time when I wouldn't admit. My sins made me miserable. I'll just down. But at the end of every psalm, he gets back with God and realizes the victory he has in him. So when you look at the Psalms, remember that. Look for that. Look for that pattern. Look for that recovery. That's what it is. It's recovery. David was in recovery. The S reminds us to stop the blame. Stopping the blame, man, that takes a lot of energy. You know what I mean? You got to come up with a story. You got to come up with how they did it and all that. And you just look back at the story of Adam and Eve. When they started to blame, they got kind of busy, didn't they? They had to go hide, they had to make some clothes, they had to do all this stuff. Blame is one of the most energy-robbing things that we have in our life. It's wasted time. It's wasted energy. It's wasted creativity. Imagine if we took the creativity that we use to blame somebody for something and used it for something positive. Man, we could get somewhere, couldn't we? Our secrets have isolated us from each other, from other people. They have prevented intimacy in all of our important relationships. Matthew 7:3 says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eyes, fail to see the plank in your own? How can you say to the brother, let me get the speck out of your eye, when there is a plank in your own? Take the plank out of your own eye first, and then you can see clearly enough to remove the brother's speck of dust." Finally, the last S says, start accepting God's forgiveness. Once we accept God's forgiveness, we're able to look others in the eye, we're able to see ourselves and our actions in a new light, we're able to find the humility to exchange the shortcomings and principle of pride. The summary of step 4 is, in confession, we open our lives to the healing, reconciling, restoring, and uplifting grace of Jesus Christ, who loves us in spite of ourselves. 1 John 1:9 reminds us what? If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. One of the problems, one of my concerns with today's gospel that we water down to its cheating. I've worked children's ministry and I've worked youth ministry and I've worked all that. And I've been one of those preachers that did go with these emotional altar calls at the end of a good camp meeting and a whole bunch of responses. But here's the thing, and I realized that as I've worked this out in my life, I made the gospel too cheap. Too many times I was just trying to get kids and young people and even old people just to let God save you from hell. God will, and He will do that. And that's important because eternity is a long time. But the same God who can snatch me out of hell's eternity is the same God who can give me power not to sin. Whoa. See, now, we should altar call like this. Okay, I want you to come down front. You may still go to hell, but I'm going to give you the power not to sin. They'd be like, I don't really want that. I like my sin. I just don't want to go to hell. You know? That's what we've done with the gospel a lot of times. So, with that being said, remember this confession. This confession isn't saving you from hell. God already did that. He did that a long time ago. As soon as you say, oh, I'm a sinner. This confession is giving you the power not to sin. It's giving you the power to break away from those things that you're struggling with. Say it out loud. Say it. Admit it to yourself, to God. Say it out loud to another person. In your confession, you will stop your struggling. And remember, stop concealing, start healing. Thank you for your time.